Hello and a very warm welcome to the programme. I'm Sally Bundock and we start with the news that US President Joe Biden will visit Israel on Wednesday in a show of support after more than 1,400 people were killed by Hamas gunmen last weekend. Top US diplomat Antony Blinken made the announcement after late-night talks in Tel Aviv. He also said the US and Israel had agreed on a plan to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza, where UN agencies have warned of a deepening crisis and more than 2,800 people there have been killed by Israeli airstrikes. Meanwhile, Hamas, which is designated as a terrorist organisation by governments including the UK and US, says it fired a barrage of rockets at Jerusalem and Tel Aviv overnight, with sirens sending lawmakers to bomb shelters. And we can bring you some live pictures of Gaza today. It's now just after 8 a.m. with another very difficult day ahead for Gazans who are coping with severe restrictions on water, electricity, with food supplies running dry and also critical medicines running out. So more now on the news that President Joe Biden will visit Israel on Wednesday. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said President Biden will focus on securing the release of hostages taken by Hamas while underscoring the need to minimise civilian casualties in Gaza.
The United States and Israel have agreed to develop a plan that will enable humanitarian aid from donor nations and multilateral organizations to reach civilians in Gaza, and them alone, including the possibility of creating areas to help keep civilians out of harm's way. It is critical that aid begin flowing into Gaza as soon as possible. We share Israel's concern that Hamas may seize or destroy aid entering Gaza or otherwise preventing it from reaching the people who need it. If Hamas in any way blocks humanitarian assistance from reaching civilians, including by seizing the aid itself, we'll be the first to condemn it, and we will work to prevent it from happening again. We welcome the government of Israel's commitment to work on this plan. The President very much looks forward to discussing it further when he's here on Wednesday.
Well, I spoke to our North America correspondent David Willis, who explained the significance of the President's visit.
Well, Antony Blinken, Sally, said that this was all about confirming the United States' solidarity with Israel and, as he put it, the ironclad commitment to Israel's security. And President Biden, as part of this visit, will be receiving what's called a classified and comprehensive brief on Israel's war aims and strategy. Now, of course, a key element of that strategy is thought to be some sort of ground invasion. And it's become clear that given the full-throated support for Israel's right to defend itself earlier on, the United States has grown increasingly concerned about the possibility of some sort of humanitarian crisis, given the fact that water and food supplies are already said to be running low in parts of the enclave and so on. So part of this meeting today with Benjamin Netanyahu on the part of the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken was, it's thought, to wring some sort of humanitarian reassurances on behalf of the United States and some of its Arab allies regarding the possible terms of that ground invasion, if you like. The creation of safe areas for Palestinian civilians who obviously do not want to get involved in what's going to be happening there, and also some sort of means of getting humanitarian foreign aid into those who are not involved with Hamas.
Also, the President is expected to meet with other leaders in the region, isn't he?
He is, yes. He's going to go on to Amman in Jordan, where he's to meet with King Abdullah and also President Sisi of Egypt and the Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas. Now, President Biden of the United States want to prevent this conflict from spreading and from other actors, Hezbollah most notably among them, from becoming involved and broadening this conflict. So it is very important to keep those sort of allies on board and to be seen to be listening to their concerns. And of course, primary among those concerns is that sort of humanitarian crisis that could develop so easily in Gaza if Israel does indeed mount this ground offensive, Sally.